Your thoughts?
What? What? Who?
Nice.
Sorry for the later start time. Had a little bit of an internet issue. Welcome into this Wednesday morning. We are going to be talking to Karla Schulte here in about a couple of minutes with Centerstone, and we're going to learn more about their Flourish program. This is really cool. The program helps all families increase well-being and enhance the safety of family by developing and improving parenting and communication skills, strengthening family relationships, and more. We're going to be talking as well to Keith Newber with Kreative Kids. They have a really cool upcoming Family Fun Day fundraiser for Kreative Kids that happens on April the 13th. We'll get the latest on ways that we can be a part of it and support this really great institution. That all comes down the pipeline today in the next 2 hours. But in the meantime, here's what's happening around the Riverbend very briefly. We'll take you to Godfrey. After a lengthy debate at Tuesday's Finance Committee meeting, Godfrey trustees did vote 3-2 to allow the Park and Recreation Department to seek proposals for a rec center or gym to be built somewhere in the village. No money has been spent yet. The department will simply ask for architectural firms for design ideas and potential cost estimates. Park and Recreation Director Chris Logan explained the goal within the facility in question is not for the village to start hosting large-scale athletic tournaments, but mainly to give sports teams from local high schools more space to play and to practice. The current plan is for the facility to house 2 or 4 basketball courts, which could be used for other sports, as well as restrooms, a concession area, and possibly more, depending on the proposals that come forward and their associated cost estimates. An exact square footage or location is still unknown at the stage of this project. The main debate centered around what to do first: complete a new comprehensive plan for the village or allow the Parks Department to seek proposals for a rec center. Trustees Lowski and Lombardi said the comprehensive plan should come first to create a roadmap for the village's long-term future. Then a facility like a rec center could be incorporated into the village's vision for the next 5 to 10 years. Trustee Mike Fisher said local sports teams may need the extra space sooner than a comprehensive plan can be completed. Trustee Woodman added that a comprehensive plan could take more than a year to complete, to which Lowski replied a building likely wouldn't be completed much sooner. Mayor McCormick said the village's last comprehensive plan, as well as a parks plan completed 2 years ago, both already call for a rec center and didn't see the need to wait for a third study to say the same thing before pursuing this project. While Logan stated in his memo and multiple times at the meeting that details wouldn't be known until the department was allowed to meet with architectural firms, some trustees expressed hesitation to support the project without a clear idea of the cost and overall requirements. Trustee Weber expressed concern that it is still unclear exactly which facilities would be included in this proposed rec center. Logan reiterated that those details and more, especially the estimated cost, would be more clear once the department has met with these firms. Following the debate and discussion, trustees voted 3-2 to allow the Parks Department to seek proposals for cost estimates and possible designs for a rec center. Trustees Lowski and Weber cast the two no votes, while Woodman, Fisher, and Lombardi voted in favor. Trustee Karen McAtee was absent from the meeting. A recording of the Finance Committee meeting and the Village Board meeting that followed on the 2nd of April are available at RiverBender.com/video. Also in the news out of Edwardsville, Dan Brandon reporting that more details of the upcoming MCT Yellow Hammer Connector Trail, they're now emerging. The project does remain several months away from completion, but Executive Director for the Agency for Community Transit, S.J. Morrison, said there is a lot of excitement about the new trail addition. The trail connector will be partially constructed on a former streetcar corridor known locally as the Yellow Hammer, which operated between Edwardsville and Granite City in the early 1900s. The old streetcar in the area was called Yellow Hammer because the train cars speeding down the track sounded like percussive beats of a yellowhammer woodpecker. It's interesting. The project runs from the northeastern end of the SIUE Delta Morris Trail to the MCT Goshen Trail just south of New Pogue Road. Construction on the MCT Yellow Hammer Connector Trail started on November 1st of last year, and activities include tree and shrub brush cleaning, earth moving, pile driving, interesting, installing a pre-engineered bridge, paving, reseeding, and tree planting, Morrison said. Also in the news, out of Alton, Rock Springs Park, was bustling with excitement. The annual community Easter egg hunt in Alton has grown into a massive event and left no one disappointed on the 30th of March at Rock Springs Park. The event did run from noon to 3 p.m. Alderwoman Rosie Brown, one of the coordinators of this event with a special committee, said once again it was a wonderful, touching community event. Alton First Lady Sheila Goins has said it was a wonderful event. Once again, it was a beautiful way to see the community come together once again and support the Easter egg hunt and other activities. Alton Mayor David Goins agreed and said it takes teamwork with volunteers and businesses' support to have the event, and it showed how many people love the kids and their community. James Hickman of Mr. Everything said the event came together nicely and continues to get bigger and bigger. The 100 Men movement was also represented at the event and was a key player and contributor. Thousands of eggs were distributed along with drawings for the Easter baskets and bikes. Leon Smallwood Bay of the Alton branch of the NAACP said days like Saturday show how much people love and care for the community, and Kennedy Smith of Unity in the Community said he is glad his organization is able to be a part of such a great activity, and the event was big again this year. One final bit of news for you at 9:15. Out of Godfrey, we're going to learn more about this on Friday, but Sydney Sink's given us a great report. The Fire Protection District will be celebrating the opening of their new firehouse and administrative center with a ribbon-cutting ceremony and open house from 10 a.m. until noon this coming Saturday on the 6th of April. Fire Protection District officials and community leaders will discuss the importance of this new facility and the services it offers its residents, S.M. Wilson said in a release. This 14,474 square foot building replaced two existing firehouses and centrally located, with room for growth to accommodate the ever-increasing demand for emergency services. The new fire station includes 5 bedrooms, a kitchen, kitchenette, and a conference room, a training room, living space, a reports room, and more. The Godfrey Fire Protection District previously operated out of 2 stations, one at 6011 Godfrey Road and the other 1712 West Delmar. The new station brings all firefighters under the same roof in Godfrey. Let's take a look at your weather at 9:16. A little bit of change on this 3rd day of March. It's currently cold out there in the heart of the 618, 39 degrees, but it feels like it's just above freezing at 32. Today, mostly cloudy, windy, and colder with showers. And tonight, a stray evening shower. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and breezy. Temperatures will not reach much more than where they are today. Just about 44 degrees on the dial is where we're going to get to. It will drop down to 37 overnight on Thursday. There still is a 92% chance of rain throughout the day. Nothing major. On Thursday, a high of 46, a low of 32. On Friday, a high of 53, a low of 31. On Saturday, we're warming up a bit, a high of 60 degrees. I'll take it. and a low of 44. On Sunday, the 7th of April, a high of 62, a low of 45 degrees. For time and temperature throughout the day, 618-465-4545, this time powered by Tom Lane. He is your local State Farm agent. And before I take a quick one, let me fill you in on RP Lumber. They have some great deals for you to get that outdoor space looking great again, just in time for spring. Hot buys while supplies last. Now, they aren't taking rain checks, so you got to get in there and get these items. They're offering 10% off all-in garden hoses, 15% off all in-stock Traeger wood pellet grills. Man, those are nice. Plus, you're saving $10 on select Boley yard tools, and you know those nice yellow jacket extension cords, they'll never break. We use them all the time. 100 feet for $60, you're saving $7, but the deals don't stop there. All you have to do is click on the RiverBender.com wallpaper and get a part of this promotion. It runs until the 30th of April, or for more details, visit rplumber.com today, and don't forget to tell them that Riverbender sent you their way. Before we take a quick break and start our wonderful conversations with Centerstone, let's take a look at downtown Alton this early Wednesday morning and see how everything's looking on our Skycam. We'll be back with more of our daily show after this.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone, and over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
Dream Home Realty Center.
Hey Sherry, talk to me, Dream Team.
We've got showing.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
We are Phillips 66 Wood River Refinery. We make the fuels that take us to work and our children to school. We make materials and energy products that allow us to stay connected to each other. We care about the quality and safety of our products because we care about the communities we share. Our employees live our values of safety, honor, and a commitment to act as good neighbors where we live and operate. We are Phillips 66. Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
It's very challenging to live with whatever we carry.
Centerstone is a one-of-a-kind place.
And it was the best decision I ever made in my life. There's nothing holding me back anymore.
Welcome back to our daily show on this beautiful Wednesday morning, the 3rd day of April. We love our conversations with Centerstone, where we learn so much about the amazing work that they do for so many in our region and throughout the country. And Karla joins us now. Karla, I'm going to have to bring you on the Zoom before I do the butcher job here. Is it Schulte?
Yes.
Oh, good. I was so nervous about this all commercial break, Karla. I even said it. I'm like, I gotta nail this. And I'm really excited, Karla, to talk about the Flourish program. How are we doing this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Rolling with the punches on a Wednesday in downtown Alton. Well, right off the bat, Karla, fill us in on a brief overview of what the Flourish program is all about.
Yeah, so at the Flourish program, we serve families with any sort of DCFS involvement, and generally there's some sort of substance use within their DCFS case. but we also serve families who don't have any involvement but would like extra parenting support or education.
And I was doing a little bit of research on my own before we started talking today, and I wanted to ask you a little bit more of the trauma-informed substance use disorder treatment, including that prevention and recovery that you provide. Can I ask a little bit more about that and what that involves?
Yeah, so the trauma informed, we do trauma informed cognitive behavioral therapy. That's what all of our clinicians are trained in. So essentially, we've all done the training to learn more about ways that trauma can impact substance use and ways that we can be sensitive to that.
And Karla, as you're working with families, I think that you can speak for this so much more than I can. Whenever you have a child or a couple of children that are involved in a situation to where maybe the lifestyle inside the home isn't favorable, whether or not it's for substance abuse or any other type of trauma that's inflicted, how does that affect that child going forward for years to come? Because from what my understanding is on the subject, that the earlier those situations start, the more quickly we need to tackle those. Is that the case?
Yeah, so the quicker that we can provide an intervention, really the better it's going to be for that whole family.
Hmm.
So we kind of treat that family as a holistic unit. So our program does involve kiddos, but primarily the program that we're currently running really tackles the parents aspect of it.
Really
Because
cool.
it's really hard to change a kiddo without also providing intervention to the parent. So if they can change maybe the way that they approach discipline.
Hmm. Really fascinating. And when you're working with families, when does that conversation start? Are you guys alerted by a government agency like DCFS that, hey, we're going to be implementing some type of action here? Or is it more of a reach out from that prospective family or maybe even a relative of that said family?
So we take referrals either way. So sometimes it's their DCFS caseworker, or sometimes it's the person themselves that are calling in for themselves or their kiddos, maybe even both.
And Karla, whenever you're working with families and working with the parents, take me through some of those conversations that you have, because that's very important. Going back to what you just said, it's hard to, get that child to maybe change perspectives if there are two role models or one role model, their parents in their lives aren't really necessarily doing the same thing. So what is that first step with having those conversations with the parents a part of that family?
So the first step for us is like linkage to treatment. So linkage to if there's like mental health concerns, substance use, to be able to link them with those specific programs. That way they can start to get that help first. And then really it kind of goes from there. Sometimes kiddos need treatment as well, and we're able to link them with that treatment.
And Karla, are there times where maybe a family's referred and the parents maybe are not connecting with the problems that they're facing? Has that ever happened in these situations?
Sure, that happens. Part of our role is to just be there with the family with wherever they're at. Sometimes families can't be ready right away, and that's okay. We're there to be there when they're ready, or be there to we have a technique called like motivational interviewing that we can use to help the family maybe engage and connect those
Mhm.
problems.
And on top of this all, I wanted to ask about receiving services from home, because I was going on, that's a big deal to be able to go where that family's at, because I know that sometimes in these situations, transportation and maybe gathering up everybody can be of difficulty. How important is it for you guys to go inside the home or even offer that telehealth service for this type of program?
Yeah, so our program is servicing, we can do statewide Illinois. So
Wow.
we have a lot of families that are in our southern region, and that's where transportation can really be an impact and make it so that families have a difficult time getting to an office. Maybe they don't have transportation or they don't have access to like a bus system. So it's really important for us. So we're a fully telehealth program.
Hmm. Well, and Karla, I was going through some of the testimonials. The most impactful one that I saw was because I completed this program, I was able to get my kids back. Take me through some of those success stories because there are folks, and society right now, and we're trying to, kind of get to the point where we become more understanding, but, that we immediately kind of turn our nose up at the situation that maybe a parent loses the responsibility and the privilege of the child for a couple of years because of things they're battling. But to celebrate those successes of saying, hey, I completed this. I did this with the help of Centerstone or my peers. Take me through some of those success stories and ways the Flourish program has helped people, well, flourish.
Yeah. So generally, these folks, if there's a DCFS case, they have what's called like a service plan. So they
Uh-huh.
kind of have a list of services that they need to go through and complete. One of them generally is parenting support and education, which is what we are able to provide to families. So that sometimes is like that check mark. They learn from the class, they go home or the groups, and then they go home and they implement those skills with kiddos and during their visits or during the times that they have overnights, and that translates to them being able to get kiddos home. And it's really exciting when we're running these groups. They're fairly long groups. They're 14 to 17 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So you see that client through that whole group, and then at the end when they're progressing in their services or they're getting close to getting kiddos back, it's really exciting to like be a part of that and then get to celebrate that with the client because ultimately they're the ones doing the work.
Well, and that's such a great point, too. And Karla, I wanted to ask you this because, for folks that go, well, and maybe not, I need to rephrase this. For folks that are looking at this program for the classes that are being taught, in your opinion, do you think that multiple parents, regardless of a DCFS case, regardless of if there's something going on in the home, maybe life's normal right now, are these classes still important to take for parents to get more understanding and maybe check ourselves on how we're handling and tackling our home lives?
Yeah, I think that these can be really beneficial. And what I always tell parents is no one really gives you a handbook. So
Exactly.
when at the hospital, no one's handed you a handbook. And as kiddos progress through life, they change. And then your parenting stages change as well. So it can be beneficial. And we do have parents who just want extra support, or maybe there's one problem behavior at home that they're really concerned about that they come in and they decide to take our courses.
Wow. And Karla, that's a perfect segue because the next thing I always talk about with our with our Centerstone segments where we direct people, if you're experiencing substance use disorder and you're looking for treatment, recoverwithus.org. But I wanted to ask you about the folks that come in because no matter who we are, whether or not we're millionaires or maybe we're, kind of just scooting by and trying to get through the weeks, paycheck to paycheck, this affects us all. Take me through some of the families and different backgrounds that you guys encounter on a day-to-day or maybe even a monthly basis.
I mean, substance use doesn't discriminate.
Uh-huh.
So it really doesn't matter what social economic status you come from, what kind of cultural aspects you have. It can really affect anyone. So I think that we see a broad range of folks
Yeah.
from all different backgrounds.
And Karla, that's why I just always want to stress that each time we talk with Centerstone, because sometimes, and that's one of our biggest missions here at our daily show, is to make sure we destigmatize that and realize it doesn't matter who we are, what we look like. This could happen to any one of us, just depending on the situation. And Karla, take me through your day-to-day with the Flourish program and Centerstone as a whole.
Yeah, so I'm a coordinator for this program. So my primary role is to work with staff. I also handle all of the referrals that we get, and that's kind of my primary role. Other than that, my staff members are leading groups throughout the day. I have two counselors on the team who are providing counseling services. I have one person who's doing just assessments for us. Then we have a case manager and a person with lived experience or a
Wow.
recovery engagement specialist.
And that's what I love about and before I go into what I love about this, it shows how big of a team you guys have for this program. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts to it. But to have somebody who's lived this experience is so huge. And that's why I think Centerstone's so successful with their programming, because everyone I've talked to about, CSU all the way down to, going down the gauntlet, there's peer recovery specialists and peer support specialists that have lived through these certain situations. And I think those connections are just invaluable.
Yeah, I agree. I think the recovery engagement specialist that I have on my team,
Uh-huh.
I'm always getting positive feedback about her work with clients, and it really gives them the ability to feel heard and like there's someone else who they can connect with, that like they get it, they've been here.
And that I don't know if you're reading my mind today, Carla. This is actually kind of incredible because I wanted that was my next point is being heard.
Mhm.
Regardless of if it's substance use, maybe a domestic situation, something that's happening inside the home. How many of those situations, and I don't want you to ballpark because that's too hard to do, but how many folks do you encounter, in your opinion, that stem from their problems stem from just what you said, not being heard, not having that extended family to lean on and be a voice of reason, to be those hearing pieces. How much of that affects and goes into substance use disorders, into a home life instability situation? How much of that goes into play?
Just depends on like the client's
Hmm.
personal circumstances and what's happened within their own lives. But it kind of, what you talked about reminded me of, with families, we talk about protective factors.
Hmm.
So protective factors are the extra folks involved that can kind of step in if they see something that's a little off with the family, to say, hey, I saw this, and then can step in to also help. Or to kind of take that burden, talk about like it takes a village to raise kids,
Hmm.
that might watch your child for a while so that you can go do XYZ or have some time to yourself.
Really fascinating. And Carla, let me talk about the staff for a second in the Flourish program. Whenever you're encountering your staff and working with them, especially the folks that are hands-on working with these families, how important is it for you and the program to make sure you're supporting your staff members as well? Because I'm sure that, in this line of service, there's a
Mhm.
lot to handle.
Yeah, it's a huge portion, to make sure that my staff are taken care of, to make sure that they are getting what they need. They need to debrief or talk about something, that I'm available for them. And at Centerstone, it's always a conversation about self-care. So what are you doing to take care of yourself? What are you doing to end your work day and kind of leave it at work? That way you're
Yep.
refreshed and able to
Yep.
come back the next day.
And to me, that's what I think so important because, time and time again, we talk about the individual, but we don't talk about the supporter, the staff workers
Mhm.
for Centerstone that are, dealing with their own problems too in the most appropriate way, but also managing ours and helping us help ourselves too. And Carla, whenever someone's making this decision, they're hearing about this today, maybe for the first time or for the billionth time. What's the best way to reach out and say, you know what, I don't have a DCFS case against me. I don't have, anything like that going on, but I need to check our home life balance here. I need to check the way that we're, interacting inside the home. What's the best way to start that process?
So if you're looking for treatment at Centerstone or the Flourish program specifically, I would call the Customer Engagement Center
Uh-huh.
at Centerstone's, which is just the main Centerstone line, and then you would ask for Customer Engagement Center, and they would link you to care if you wanted that.
And Carla, I was reading something about these virtual group parenting classes. Being a part of a group, I think, is so much more beneficial than having a one-on-one in this
Mhm.
certain situation because you're hearing
Mhm.
a ton of different perspectives on this. Have you been a part of any of these groups, just kind of observing? And can you fill me in on what's being discussed?
Yeah, so these groups, I've been the group leader for a lot of the groups.
Okay.
And so we have a specific intervention. We have two different interventions that we run. So we have main topics that we talk about in there, but we also give clients space to talk about whatever concerns that they have, or things that might be bothering them, like in relation to parenting. Because when you do have, say, five other parents there, then you're able to talk about it, and someone can say, oh, I tried this and it worked really well. And then they kind of have that opportunity.
On top of that, too, how important is it to have that realness of the conversation in a way, if I'm phrasing this correctly? Because when I'm talking, when I
Mhm.
went to counseling myself, the way I talk to a counselor, it might be a little bit different than the way I talk in a group setting to kind of explain myself or perspective. Have you witnessed that too?
Yeah, if people aren't authentic to who they are, then it's really hard to get our point across sometimes.
Makes sense.
Or we're not going to feel comfortable. It's going to feel kind of weird and awkward.
And take me through that breakdown too, because when we all start, I can only imagine I am like the worst at first impressions and meetings and first impressions. Whenever you see the groups take off, from week 1 to week 14, week 17, sometimes with these programs, at what point does the comfortability start to really take effect to where hey, we're in this together as a team, because that's really what you become during this program.
Mhm. I would say the group cohesion is around like weeks 4 to 6,
Uh-huh.
just depending on um, the group themselves. Some groups get really cozy, like very quickly for whatever reason, and then some groups take a little bit longer. But either way, there's eventually a point that you kind of you feel like one unit or one cohesive. I guess unit's the only word I have for
Yeah.
it today.
No, I just, to me, I always find that so fascinating too, how different groups merge and how they interact with each other, because I think that might come into play with how quickly we can develop these skills, together as a team and as a group. And Karla, I don't want to have you give away too much, but what are some of those conversations and topics look like in those first couple of weeks? Do you have a week by week breakdown that's kind of a template, or does it change with your prospective groups and individuals in that said group?
So since it's an evidence-based practice, it has like specific topics that we talk about each week. So in one of our interventions, we talk about hope and trust for the first week,
Hmm.
hope, trust, and then we talk about substance use and how that affects families. And then our other intervention dives right into uh, what we call child's game. So or spending quality time with your kiddos. Each intervention has its like icebreakers to get families going and excited. One of them is like a dance. We turn on like music with a beat, and everyone takes a turn like leading the group in a dance. And I think
Cool.
that one, as kind of awkward or weird as it is at first, everyone ends up really liking it, and they're like, "Oh, that was really cool."
That's because it teaches us it's okay to have fun and laugh. And
Hmm.
that's what I think. And just saying that, I'm sorry I'm getting excited about this. I've been saying for like 4 years doing radio and broadcasting that society is getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And we're
Hmm.
always checking our shoulder who's taking a video of us or who's, talking about us. And I think that alone goes a long way for so many people that we can kind of take for ourselves today and go, to have that dance break as a family, do something unique, do something to where you're joking and having fun and poking at yourself a little bit and putting yourself out there.
And we really want to emphasize that when you're in recovery, you can still have fun.
Exactly. 100%. And as we're going through this, and I know that I always tell Centerstone, I told Robert 15 minutes. I normally go a little bit longer, but that's because this information is very important. Because I'd much rather get the information out there before families need to know the information. When that situation occurs, Karla. And as we're talking about the screening and assessment case management side of things, how many times have you encountered, and you don't have to give me a specific, but just a ballpark where maybe you're screening an individual, and for the first time, that parent, that mom or dad, is maybe understanding, wow, I do have some type of mental ailment, mental illness that I need to battle. How many times do you come across that to where they're learning about themselves maybe for the first time in that aspect?
I think sometimes this is an opportunity to become more self-aware or more insightful to like understand the big picture. I'm not sure how many times that's happened, but I will say that it sometimes does happen
Uh huh.
where this is almost like a red flag or the first time that they've even noticed that something was a problem. Because it can happen really slowly over time or really fast over time too, to where you're like, oh gosh, how did I get here?
Uh huh. No, really, really, really fascinating. And now, when you're talking with the children or the immediate family, when we're discussing counseling for mental health, substance use, how do those conversations break down for the supporters and the loved ones of the individuals that are going through that battle?
I think it's important that everyone has like those supports. If we don't have
Yeah.
supports, then sometimes it's really hard to either sustain recovery long term. So we really encourage clients to build up their support network so that they have all of these, we call them like natural supports. So just like the supports that you have day to day, that those folks are supportive of their recovery and are kind of a positive influence over them so that if they need help, they can ask for help.
And Karla, what's your kind of message today for maybe an individual that's listening to this now or in a couple of hours from now when it's on demand that might be going through a very stressful situation with maybe some DCS or DCFS involvement or some other type of situation? What's your message to them about the Flourish program and maybe a little bit of encouragement to get started?
Yeah, so we're here to help. This is what we do day in and day out. And one of my big goals for this program is that we are like a one-stop shop. So you might have DCFS telling you, I have to do 20 different things, and we want to help you get through those things or link you to those programs to make it as easy as we can to have you fulfill all of the requirements that are being asked of you. Because I understand that it's a lot.
Oh, I bet. And it's almost like looking at Mount Everest whenever you're given those tasks and those items. And to have a partner like Centerstone to, walk through the process with us is a huge incentive. And Karla, one final gotcha question for you today. What's the most impactful part of the Flourish program?
I think it's the clients.
Yeah.
Clients have the ability to make such a big impact. They make impacts on us, but they're also the ones doing the work. And I always want to recognize them for the work that they are doing in order to either get their kiddos back, keep their kiddos, or make positive changes.
Absolutely. And Karla, it's been really nice talking with you today. And is there anything else about the Flourish program that we need to learn about this morning?
No, I think we've covered it.
Well, thank you so much for your time. And for more information, what's the appropriate phone number, website to go to for our audience today?
Okay, so you would call the main Centerstone line, and anytime anyone asks me for it, my mind goes blank.
Honestly, same here for our work line. I don't know every time I give out my office line, I give out my grandma's phone number.
So it is not the number I found.
It's all right. What I do know is while you're looking for that is addiction can happen to anyone. And if you're looking for a fresh start on the road to recovery, a life free from addiction is possible, and it does start at Centerstone. Centerstone is a national leader in mental health and substance use disorder treatment for people of all ages with a commitment to delivering care, as Karla knows firsthand, that truly changes people's lives. Centerstone's dedicated clinicians use evidence-based practices for their treatment programs. So that means that the recovery care plan is developed and tailor-made for you. Addiction can happen to anyone, folks, but so can recovery. So start working towards that recovery today by visiting Centerstone online at recoverwiththis.org, recoverwiththis.org. And what was that phone number for the Flourish program?
618-462-2331.
Or recoverwiththis.org or Centerstone online. Karla, thank you so much for your time today. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Yep, nice speaking with you too.
9:45, we'll take a quick break, and our daily show continues next, right after this, in downtown Alton.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance Insurance, our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, Free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
RiverBender Radio has built 3 great new stations just for you in the Riverbend. The Eagle, the Riverbend's classic rock station. The Bridge, hit music for the Riverbend. And The River, today's country, and all your favorites. Check them out today at RiverBenderRadio.com.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
All right, I never even look at Facebook. I really don't. I was just on there to send a message off for some actual Riverbender business, and when I was on there, I saw a comment that said, "Make this podcast about local rappers." You're more than welcome on, but I don't think that there's enough subject matter there for an entire podcast. I would never. I saw that, just got a kick out of it. I don't think there's enough content, but. Always here to talk to musicians. We do it all the time, and you're more than welcome to come on the show if you want to talk to us about your career a little bit and the music you're making. How about that? 9:48, here's what happened on this date in history. And while I have you, I just want to say thank you for 500,000 viewers on RiverBender.com alone. I don't count Facebook and all those social media numbers that these radio stations try to promote it over. You know, they do all the time. They're like, oh, well, social media, that don't mean nothing. On RiverBender.com, 500,000 of you, or one person 500,000 times, might have been me, has watched the show so far this year, year to date, March the 3rd, or April the 3rd. Doubling year over year because of all the cool stuff happening. On this date in history, some cool stuff. Yeah, I'm yelling. The Pony Express debuts on this date in 1860. That's the big one. Here's some other big ones. In 1948, President Harry Truman signs Marshall Plan. That happened on 1948, April the 3rd. In 1996, the Unabomber arrested on this date in history. In 1996, the U.S. Secretary of Commerce, Ron Brown, died on this date in a plane crash. Also on this date, now this is a little where history starts to get a little question mark. Yesterday, you heard me say that Ponce de Leon claimed Florida for Spain. However, now people also say that today might have been the day too. So, Florida, you were discovered yesterday or today, and now, well, oh, God. You know? Also, on this date in history in 1969, Nixon administration vows to Vietnamize the war. That happened in 1969. In 1817, Texas Ranger Bigfoot Wallace was born on this date in history. In 1948, this is a really important day for radio buffs and historians and just media historians alike. The Louisiana Hayride premiered on KWKH AM in Shreveport, Louisiana. In 1978, Annie Hall beats out Star Wars for Best Picture. There you go. In 1882, Jesse James was murdered on this date in history. And in 1865, during the Civil War era of our country, the Confederate capital of Richmond is captured on this date in history. How about that? In 1776, Congress authorizes privateers to attack British vessels. That happened on this date in history. Let's take a look at some music. Bonnie Raitt was the unexpected winner of the 64th annual Grammy Awards when the 73-year-old American blues, folk, and country singer scored a win for Song of the Year for her track Just Like That. The critically acclaimed singer jumped ahead of pop titans Beyonce, Adele, and Taylor Swift to take home the prize, honoring songwriting. Also on this date in history, in 2011, Adele broke the world, literally. For the longest time, at number 1, she set the record in the UK chart by a female solo artist after her second album, 21, spent not 1, but 10 consecutive weeks at the top of the chart. The previous record was held by Madonna with her greatest hits record, The Immaculate Collection, in 1990. In 2008, Morrissey accepted an apology publicly in court from Word magazine after it suggested he was a racist and a hypocrite. The singer took Word to court after an article concerning his political views appeared in the March edition. His solicitor said the magazine now accepted that this was absurd to accuse Mr. Morrissey of being a racist and that he was, quote, not a hypocrite. The former Smiths frontman did not appear at London's High Court during the trial. In 2008, Mariah Carey smashed Elvis Presley's U.S. chart record by scoring her 18th number 1 of a career, Touch My Body, for her new album E=MC. It should be squared, but it says MC2. Carey had now surpassed Elvis's 17 number 1s. The Beatles still held the record at 20 U.S. number 1 hits. In 2007, Keith Richards denied that he snorted the ashes of his late father. Jane Rose, Richards' manager, told MTV News the remarks were made in jest, and she could not believe that they had been taken seriously. Richards said in an interview with NME, he was cremated, and I couldn't resist grinding him up with a little bit of blow. But MEE manager Mark Beaumont was convinced that Richards was not joking when speaking of the incident. He did seem to be quite honest about it. There were too many details for him to be making it up, he later told BBC News. Also on this date in history, a then unknown Sex Pistols on this date in 1976 opened for the 101ers at the Nashville Room in London. The 101ers were a pub rock band notable as being the band that Joe Strummer left to join the Clash. In 1975, Steve Miller charged with setting fire to clothes of a friend, Danita Diorio, when police arrived at Miller's house. Diorio was putting out the flames. Miller then got into a fight with some of the policemen and charged with resisting arrest. That's how you do it. On this date in 1971, the Temptations scored their second number 1 in the U.S. charts with Just My Imagination, Running Away With Me. The track is considered one of the Temptations' signature songs and is notable for recalling the sound of the group's 1960s recordings. That happened on this date in history. Also in 1969, Jim Morrison turned himself in to the FBI in Los Angeles. He was charged on sex charges of lewd behavior and public exposure at a concert in Miami on March the 2nd. He was later released with a $2,000 bail. Couple more for you today. In 1956, Elvis Presley appeared on ABC TV's The Milton Berle Show live from the flight deck of the USS Hancock in San Diego. He performed Heartbreak Hotel, Shake, Rattle, and Roll, and Blue Suede Shoes. It was estimated that 1 out of every 4 Americans saw that show. That's just incredible. Born on this date in history, Eddie Murphy, Golden Globe, a winning actor and comedian, regular cast member of Saturday Night Live from 80 to 84, appeared in a lot of motion pictures and scored the 1986 number 3 single with Party All the Time. Eddie Murphy, born on this date in history. Also born on this date in history, Tony Orlando, who, in my opinion, is best known as being the boss, and that's my boy, but he had an okay singing career, I guess. From American pop music group Dawn, who were popular in the 70s, their signature hits, Candida, Knock 3 Times, and Tie a Yellow Ribbon Round an Old Oak Tree, born on this date in history, and one of my favorites, American actress, singer, and animal welfare activist Doris Day starred in Alfred Hitchcock's suspense film The Man Who Knew Too Much with James Stewart and sang 2 songs in the film, which won Academy Awards for Best Original Song. She died on the 13th of May, 2019. That's what happened on this date in history. Speaking of history, unlock your family's history. Unlock this community's rich history at Hainer Library. With their genealogy and local history department, they are the best. The entire team from Lacey McDonald to Beth all the way down the Horn, they're going to take care of you. You know, history matters. And whenever we were in our Western civilization classes, we realized the importance of taking records and making records and, you know, creating documents to verify what we've done. I mean, what they've been able to do just right over here on the corner of State Street, over here in that beautiful brick building, has been unlocking secrets of our rich past. You know, whether or not it's from the vintage voices that they put on, whether or not it's from the Robert J. Ellison photo exhibit where Lacey uncovered thousands of photos and picked the best ones to view. I mean, that's a job in itself. But it's also unlocking who your family was in this area, and you can do that at the Genealogy and Local History Library. You just got to stop on into 401 State Street, and once you stop in and talk to them, just say, hey, CJ said that I need to check it out and see for myself all the things that I can learn about my last name. It's very important. Family matters, history matters, roots matter, and unlocking doors matter at Hainer Library. Unlocking the doors to knowledge, excitement, entertainment, and so much more. Get your library card and more by visiting HainerLibrary.org. That's HainerLibrary.org. And don't forget to tell them CJ sent you their way. We'll take a quick break. 9:58, we'll rolling around to top of the hour news next right here on RiverBender.com.
No matter the season, Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville has the gear the athletes need to get in the game. Whether you're shopping for the newest sports equipment or saving money on quality used gear, Play It Again Sports carries what you need to maximize performance to get the most out of every swing, kick, stroke, or shot. We'll even buy your used goods, paying cash on the spot. We carry all the gear for all the sports all year long. We're your hometown sporting goods store. Play It Again Sports, conveniently located at 4 Club Center Court in Edwardsville.
I just got a new air conditioner. Top of the line.
I bet mine's better. It's so efficient and quiet, I hardly know it's running.
I've got you both trumped. I've got a Linux.
So do I.
Barrett Heating and Cooling carries Linux products to meet any budget. Don't gamble with your energy dollars. Call Barrett Heating and Cooling and start saving today.
Lennox. Innovation never felt so good.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
Welcome to Evergreen Place, a community that embodies joyful living, independence, and financial freedom for seniors. If you're looking for a full day of activities or to relax in your apartment, we have you covered. Located on the Alton Memorial Campus. To know us is to love us. Experience the difference at Evergreen Place.
Life's better when you're under our roof. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto and home coverage at the right price. Also, you can enjoy the dreams you worked so hard to achieve. American Family Insurance.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
In the heart-pounding moments of the game, every move counts, just like in chiropractic care. Dr. Andrew Dykman of Rosewood Chiropractic champions this belief, supporting our teams in every drive and supporting his patients for nearly 20 years, offering affordable, compassionate, all-natural wellness care. Call 618-259-2676 or visit rosewoodchiropractic.com today.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Still trying to make a name, knowing nothing's gonna change what I am. I was a young troubadour when I wrote in on a song, and I'll be an old troubadour when I'm gone.
Ow! 10:03, welcome back. Daily show hitting you on a Wednesday morning. It is still 39 degrees. There's not much I can do about this one today, folks. Stay inside. It's cold. We'll take you to Edwardsville first. Today, Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski announced that Southern Illinois University of Edwardsville will be receiving $9.9 million in federal support for their Head Start program. Here's the latest. This renewed federal investment was awarded by the U.S. Department of Human and Health Services. The SIUE Early Head Start program serves more than 860 families and children from birth through the age of 5, including children with special needs throughout St. Clair County. The program also provides services to expectant mothers. The program is housed in 9 early childhood centers, 8 managed directly by the SIUE staff, and 2 collaboration sites. The program includes a rigorous school readiness program and offers comprehensive services to children and families alike in the areas of instructional early learning, health, and family well-being to ensure that children are ready to learn. Head Start programs promote school readiness for young children from birth to age 5 by providing programming to enhance cognitive, social, and emotional development. Head Start programs are operated by local nonprofit organizations, community action agencies, and school districts. Currently, Head Start programs serve more than 36 million children across our United States. Also in the news today, out of Collinsville, visitors are invited to view the April 8th solar eclipse from Cahokia Mound State Historic Site in Collinsville. Although the site is not in the path of totality, a spectacular partial solar eclipse, will be visible beginning at 12:43 p.m. and continuing for just over 2 hours. Cahokia Mounds is the largest pre-Columbian site north of Mexico, covering about 4,000 acres and at least 120 earthen mounds. The state of Illinois protects 2,200 acres of the central portion of the site and 72 of the 80 remaining mounds. Cahokia Mounds is a U.S. National Historic Landmark and a United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization World Heritage Site. During the April 8th eclipse, the site's museum lobby and gift shop will be open to the public from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. The site's interpretive center gallery will remain closed for most of 24 for major mechanical renovations. The eclipse visitors should park in the designated lots, including the warehouse lot near the Monk's Mound. Do not park along the road for safety reasons. Cahokia Mound State Historic Site, administered by the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, is in Collinsville, just 8 miles from St. Louis off of Interstate 5570. That's exit 6 and Interstate 255, exit 24 on Collinsville Road. We touched on this earlier, but now for a more detailed report out of Godfrey, Dalton Brown reports that after a lengthy discussion at Tuesday's Finance Committee meeting, Godfrey trustees did vote 3-2 to allow Park and Recreation Department to seek proposals for a rec center or gym to be built somewhere in the village. No money has been spent yet. The department will simply ask architectural firms for design ideas and cost estimates. Park and Recreation Director Christopher Logan explained the goal within the facility in question is not for the village to start hosting large-scale athletic tournaments, but mainly to give sports teams from local high schools more space to play and to practice. The current plan is for the facility to house 2 or 4 basketball courts, which could be used for other sports as well as restrooms, a concession area, and possibly more depending on the proposal that comes forward and their associated cost estimates. An exact square footage or location is still unknown at this stage of the project. The main debate centered around what to do first: complete a new comprehensive plan for the village or allow the Park and Recreation Department to seek proposals for a rec center. Trustees Rick Lauschke and Craig Lombardi said the comprehensive plan should come first to create a roadmap for the village's long-term future. Then, a facility like a rec center could be incorporated into the village's vision for the next 5 to 10 years. Trustee Mike Fisher said that local sports teams may need extra space sooner than a comprehensive plan can be completed. Trustee Sarah Woodman added that a comprehensive plan could take more than a year to complete, to which Lauschke replied that a building likely wouldn't be completed much sooner. Mayor McCormick said the village's latest comprehensive plan, as well as a parks plan that was completed 2 years ago, both already call for a rec center and didn't see the need to wait for a third study to say the same thing before pursuing the project. While Logan stated in his memo and multiple times at the meeting that details wouldn't be known until the department would be allowed to meet with architectural firms, some trustees expressed hesitation to support the project without a clear idea of the cost and overall requirements. Trustee Weber expressed concern that it was still unclear exactly which facilities would be included in the proposed rec center. Logan reiterated those details and more, especially the estimated cost, would be more clear once the department has met with architectural firms. All we're doing is asking to talk to architectural firms to see what they could do and what that might cost. I can't tell you what it's going to cost, no, but that's why we are trying to take one more step slowly into contacting somebody who will be able to provide that information. Following the debate and the discussion, village trustees voted 3-2 to allow the park department to seek proposals for cost estimates and possible designs for this rec center. Trustees Lauschke and Weber cast the 2 votes against, while Woodman, Fisher, and Lombardi voted in favor. Trustee Karen McAtee was absent from the meeting. A recording of the Finance Committee meeting and the Village Board meeting that followed is available at RiverBender.com/video. Also in the news today, out of Alton from Sydney Sinks, 2 local high schoolers have qualified for a national speech and debate tournament. Here's the latest. Jacob and Blake Shaper, students of Fortitude School in Alton, will compete in the Coolidge Cup in July of 2024. The tournament offers a $15,000 in scholarship money and pulls in competitors from across the nation. The Shaper brothers have competed in speech and debate tournaments for several years. In addition to the Coolidge Cup, both students will participate in the National Invitational Tournament of Champions later this spring. Blake and Jacob will compete in the parliamentary debate and impromptu speaking. Jacob will also compete in the team policy debate and gives his crowd favorite expository speech on how to bake sourdough bread. Blake will participate in the Lincoln Douglas debate, original oratory, persuasive, and apologetics categories. Jacob explained that the brothers started out by giving speeches to their parents and grandparents, and then they joined STOA, a speech and debate organization for homeschooling Christian families. And both boys, they fell in love with the experience. They're excited to compete at these high-level tournaments later this year. Both students have big plans after their tournaments. Jacob, a Meridian Scholarship winner, will be attending SIUE in the fall with a major in mechanical and mechatronics engineering. Blake will work as an intern with the Classical Learning Test this summer. The boy's mother, Christy, said she is proud of the work they have put in and she is grateful for the opportunities that homeschooling has given them. The boys are looking forward to competing at both the Coolidge Cup and the National Invitation Tournament of Champions. They both said they enjoy speech and debate, and they have developed skills they hope to carry with them for the rest of their lives. Congratulations to both of you, and we wish you nothing but the best and bring home a winner to all of us here at RiverBender.com. Also in the news today, as I said earlier this morning, we will have more information, but Sydney Sinks with a great write-up on this information out of Godfrey. The Fire Protection District will celebrate the opening of their new Firehouse Administration Center with a ribbon-cutting ceremony on the 6th of April, which is this Saturday from 10 a.m. until noon. The Fire Protection District officials and community leaders will discuss the importance of this new facility and the service it offers its residents, said S.M. Wilson in a press release. This 14,474 square foot building will replace two existing firehouses and is centrally located with room for growth to accommodate the ever-increasing demand for emergency services. As the construction manager, S.M. Wilson & Co. is sponsoring the ribbon-cutting ceremony, they said the project was completed with the help of North Star Management and FGM Architects. Godfrey Fire Protection Building moved into the space on March 1. The community is invited to the open house to celebrate the new firehouse, tour the facility, and see the fire trucks. The new fire station does include 5 bedrooms, a kitchen, kitchenette, a conference room, training room, living space, a reports room, and a lot more. The Godfrey Fire Protection District previously operated out of 2 stations, one at 6011 Godfrey Road and the other at 1712 West Delmar. The new station brings all the firefighters under one roof in Godfrey. For more information about the open house, you can visit Godfrey.com. Let's take a look at sports scores from Tuesday. Let's take you to baseball first. Greenfield Northwestern, put the beating on Carlinville 16-3. Greenville beat Civic Memorial 7-3. The Collinsville at Ladue, Missouri Horton Watkins game was canceled. Roxana beat East Alton Wood River 11-1. Edwardsville over O'Fallon 6-3. Highland beat Breeze Mater Dei 8-6. Jerseyville beat Hillsboro 13-3. Centralia Christ Our Rock Lutheran 8. Marquette Catholic 6, losing to Centralia Christ Our Rock Lutheran. Metro East Lutheran beat Althoff Catholic 8-6, and the Staunton and Carrollton game was postponed. In softball, Granite City beat Belleville West 11-6. Mulberry Grove beat Highland 6-4. And in girls soccer, Marquette Catholic beat Maryville Christian convincingly 7-0. Father McGivney beat Belleville Althoff 1-0. Freeburg beat East Alton Woods River 12-0. Civic Memorial beat Jerseyville 7-1. Muscuda over Highland 2-0. Triad over Waterloo 3-1. Collinsville beat Alton 2-0. Not a bad result there. Edwardsville beat Belleville West 7-0. And O'Fallon beat Belleville East 3-2. In boys volleyball, O'Fallon beat Alton. Edwardsville beat Collinsville. And Maryville Christian beat Metro East Lutheran, along with Belleville Althoff beating Marquette Catholic, I do believe. On boys tennis, Granite City 6, Metro East Lutheran 1, and in Major League Baseball, our St. Louis Cardinals are finally figuring it out. They won 5-2 last night in San Diego. That's your Play It Again Sports Report. Oh, that is your Play It Again Sports Report. And for more information on Play It Again Sports, this is a great spot. Listen, spring's coming. Those summer park and rec leagues are going. Parents, we know what the grocery aisles look like, okay? I get it. It's $7 for cereal. But when you go to Play It Again Sports, you don't have to worry. Those sports equipment that gets very costly for soccer cleats right now, if you wanted the brand new Nike Superflies, they're about $290. Listen, we don't have that money. I hear you loud and clear. But at Play It Again Sports, you can find quality sporting equipment that doesn't break the bank, and that way you don't have to worry about getting a cleat size that's maybe a size or two bigger so they can grow into it. It's cheap enough to where you can, affordable enough. Cheap's not the right word because this is quality. It's affordable enough to where you go into Play It Again Sports. You don't have to worry about getting a size bigger, 2 sizes, let's grow into them. You can get them for the season, and then whenever you're ready to get rid of them, either bring them back or you keep them for the younger brother or sister in your life, and then you keep on moving forward with Play It Again Sports in Edwardsville. For more information, you can visit them on their Facebook page or online at playitagainsportsedwardsville.com. They are your hometown sporting goods store. Let's take a look at weather. It's not promising out there. Let's be honest with ourselves. The time is 10:16, and it's still 39 degrees, and it still feels like 32. I don't think we're hitting 46 today. Today, mostly cloudy, windy, and colder with times of rain, and tonight a straight evening shower. Otherwise, it will be mostly cloudy and breezy and cold. Temperatures will supposedly reach 45 degrees today, but we'll see. They'll drop down to 37 overnight. 92% chance of rain throughout the day. On Thursday, no rain in the forecast. Partly cloudy skies, a high of 46, a low of 32 on Friday. No rain in the forecast. Partly cloudy skies again, a high of 55. A low below freezing, 31 degrees. Man, that's a bummer. But that's okay because Saturday and Sunday, they are warming up, because I think Mother Nature is hearing us complain a little bit. On Saturday, a high of 60 degrees, a low of 44. On Sunday, a high of 70. Woo! Take that any day of the week, a low of 45, though. But that's okay. At least we're touching 70 on the dial. For time and temperature throughout the day, you give this phone number a ring, 618-465-4545. This time powered by Bounce Back. Rehab, recover, and return home before I take you to our sky cam. Let me fill you in on Alton Little Theater. I'm singing in the rain. You ever remember that? Was that on A Clockwork Orange? That was a scary scene. You know what I'm saying? Well, sorry, tangent. Singing in the rain. Hitting the stage May the 10th through the 19th. You won't have to be scared at this one. This is jovial as ever. This is the show of shows for so many in my generation. We love Singing in the Rain. Don't know why. I love the show. And you know what's funny is I'm not a big musical guy, but I could watch Singing in the Rain all day long. And you have the opportunity to see it not once, twice, 3 times, but how about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times it's on hand at Alton Little Theater. This is directed by Lee Cox and Kevin Frakes and promises all the sights and sounds of Singing in the Rain, including actual rain falling on the stage. They're pulling it out when the transition is made from silent films to talkies. Everyone has trouble adapting. Don and Lena have been cast repeatedly as a romantic couple, but in their latest film is remade in a musical. Only Don has the voice for the new singing part. After a lot of practice with a diction coach, Lena still sounds terrible. And Kathy, a bright, young, aspiring actress, is hired to record over her voice. If weekend performances sell out and there's high demand, an additional show may be added. If you're still unable to buy tickets you need for a specific performance, call the theater. Tickets are going fast for this. I mean, fast. AltonLittleTheater.org or call the box office 618-462-3205. That's 618-462-3205. Or hear all about it tomorrow with Lee Cox and myself as we take a look at the theater world with Theater Thursday and Alton Little Theater. We'll take a quick break, but before we do that, let's take a look at Skycam and see how downtown Alton's looking. We'll come back with more of our daily show right after this.
Your world, pretty baby, is it everything you hoped it'd be? The wrong guy, the wrong situation, the right time to roll to me. Roll to me.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, free is alive and well at Liberty Bank. The local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
RiverBender Radio has built 3 great new stations just for you in the Riverbend. The Eagle, the Riverbend's classic rock station. The Bridge, hit music for the Riverbend. And The River, today's country, and all your favorites. Check them out today at RiverBender.com.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ. Alrighty, 10:23. We're talking to Keith Nuber here in a couple of seconds or so. But hey, while I have you, a couple of days ago, I got some nasty texts, and I don't blame you. I don't. The nasty texts were about this March Madness thing. You guys said, CJ, you gave us a year ago's numbers, and I said I would fix it. Just give me some time. And I fixed it. Here we go. March Madness 2024 by the numbers. Here we go. Annual revenue generated $1.3 billion plus. Yeah, that's insane. Now, $9.6 million is the salary for the college basketball's highest paid coach. That's Kansas's Bill Self. 52 times, that's the difference between the average NBA rookie salary and a D1 men's basketball scholarship for a year. However, that's changing because college athletes can now profit a little bit. You know, I love how this number keeps going up. When we talked last week, when you guys yelled at me for giving you old numbers, the number was around $15 billion, okay? How about $17.3 billion? That's the corporate losses due to unproductive workers during March Madness. You know, to be honest with you, I'm a big Manchester United guy. I love YouTube TV. I can watch their games. Just amazing. Whenever they play, the world stops. That's just kind of how I am. But even then, I still if I have to work, the world doesn't stop. I just leave the game running in the background and I keep working. I don't know. A little different for me. So the projected economic impact on Phoenix during March Madness this year is around $415 million. Now, the State Farm Stadium capacity for the Final Four, it's expendable to 72,000 seats, but currently is going to hold 63,400 seats. Now, what about the number 12 plus? That's the number of college basketball programs that have been involved in a corruption case involving payouts since 2017. Always fun to see how that comes into play. So what about the operating surplus for the fiscal year 2023 for March Madness? That was $107 million. What about 7 hours? Well, that's the time the average March Madness worker spends watching the games instead of doing their job. 7 hours. Isn't that wild, Keith? Just wild. 26% of Americans are willing to skip work to watch the basketball tournament. Love it. 17% will cancel dates to watch games. Is it really that? Okay. Makes sense, I guess. Man, shows you where you stand. 3,000 volunteers are expected to be on hand for the Final Four, and $95 million. That's the NCAA's tournament impact on the Dayton, Ohio region since 2001. That's fascinating, just how much it affects the local municipalities around those universities. Let's see, a couple of more for you. $3.3 million. That's the salary of the former president of the NCAA. That's interesting. $334 million is the estimated value of the University of Kentucky's basketball program. That's the highest value among schools. $27 million, that's how much revenue is generated from the University of Kentucky's basketball program. That is just insane. $30,000 is the proposed NCAA tournament player payout, and that's always fascinating to learn about, too. 5 programs have been penalized since September 2017 for NCAA violations, including Alabama, Arizona, Louisville, South Carolina, and Southern California. 1 program has appealed the decision and played in the following tournament, and that was Oklahoma State. Now the number 6. That's the 6 assistant coaches that have been indicted on corruption charges. And man, that's just wild from so many different schools. One final one for you is the number 16. Actually, we'll do 3 more for you because they all revolve around the same thing. 16 seasons, Rick Pitino coached Louisville before being fired amid that, well, sex scandal and bribery probe. 123 wins have been stripped from the University of Louisville, including, well, this. They are the first time a Division I men's basketball team had their national championship revoked. That happened in 2013. Man, Rick got in some trouble, Keith. I'm telling you what. Poor old Rick, just trying to have some fun. Can't happen anymore. Estimated amount of legally wagered bets in 2024 amassed $2.72 billion. $4 billion is the estimated amount wagered illegally, which, I don't know. $4 billion, the loss of sports betting industry after March Madness was canceled in 2020. That shows you the impact there. 56.3 million people participated in a March Madness college bracket pool. 31 million people have placed bets over the internet, and $500 million was lost, wagered on the March Madness tournament rather than the Super Bowl. You lost $500 million compared to your Super Bowl winnings. $35 the average bet on the NCAA tournament, 70 million tournament brackets completed each year, and 156 million ballots were cast in the 2020 presidential election. So at least we're prioritizing, I guess, a little bit better. I don't know. 1 in 9.2 quintillion. That's the odds of filling out a perfect bracket. It is 2 times easier to win back-to-back lottery tickets buying 1 ticket each time than to fill out a perfect March Madness bracket. It's 10:30. We'll take a quick break. Creative Kids comes with us next. And there you go. March Madness by the numbers.
When I got in the car accident at the ER, they gave me a prescription of hydrocodone. And over time, it took more medication to mask the pain. I moved over to drug seeking and found heroin and fentanyl. I went to the Centerstone rehab facility, and it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I have my own car, I have a job, there's nothing holding me back anymore.
Dream Home Realty Center.
Hey, Sherry, talk to me, Dream Team.
We've got Joey.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
We are Phillips 66 Wood River Refinery. We make the fuels that take us to work and our children to school. We make materials and energy products that allow us to stay connected to each other. We care about the quality and safety of our products because we care about the communities we share. Our employees live our values of safety, honor, and a commitment to act as good neighbors where we live and operate. We are Phillips 66.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
Welcome back. You couldn't hear that conversation. 1032, Keith Nuber in studio. Kreative Kids Family Fun Day, fundraiser. I love that, Keith. How are we doing? April the 13th is when it comes down the pipeline.
Absolutely awesome. Yeah, we're excited to have an opportunity. We have a new playground. Obviously, last year we moved into our new center.
How's it been before we go further?
It's been great. I mean, you know, the utility bills have saved us so much money,
I
like
bet.
$4,000 a month.
Seriously?
In heating bills. Plus, we've got all this extra space, and you know, it's central air, central. I mean, it's just great.
I forgot because you were at McKinley School for a long time.
And it was that building served us well, but boy, this has been great for us.
Luxury living.
And actually, we're getting ready now because we got the new modular and expanded the school age program. So we're going to be renovating to add another infant classroom in our current building. Infant care is just nobody can find it. Our waiting list is dramatic, but with this renovation, we're going to be adding 8 additional infant slots, which will really help out with the community. So
you're right.
So part of what happened is we didn't have a playground, so that we ended up purchasing a clay down, and we thought, okay, this is great. We spent a lot of money on the playground equipment, and we'll have volunteers install it.
Right.
Well, that all makes good sense until the insurance company said, no, unless it's professionally installed, it's not covered. So that meant we needed to find a professional installer, which would be about $12,000 to be able to do that. Wasn't exactly what we had budgeted.
No, I would have never have thought that for the cost, to be honest with you.
Well, there's excavation, there's lots of stuff that goes on in that process, so it's really much more complicated. 'Cause it's a pretty good size climbing system that we got put together.
Do you know how big it is? Like, is there a square footage?
It's about 35 by 60, I think. It's going to be. So it's big.
Oh, it's a big dude. Yeah, this ain't just a rinky-dink playground. This is something nice.
Right. So, so the board and I decided, well, okay, what better way to celebrate a playground than to have a fun day? We've done these in the past for kids. It is just a joy. My staff are so creative, and so we just have a day of activities for kids, and it's also a demonstration of how we do business in terms of what the childcare industry is all about. It's learning through fun, because the more kids are engaged in the activities, the more they pay attention and the more that they retain in terms of that. So we put together this day. It's a day of fun for kids of all ages. We have skill games of different things. We got cornhole. We got a free throw challenge for the older kids and whatever, and a soccer ball shootout. We've got lots of stuff for kids anywheres between little bitties, which we're good for, all the way through the adults. The event's going to be on Saturday. It's from 11 to 2 p.m. The important thing to remember for people who are going to attend is that we're going to be providing parking at the Sportsman's Club. We don't have enough room to have both the event and parking on our property, so we have the Sportsman's Club has agreed to allow us to use their facility for parking. It's at 3109 Godfrey Road, and then we have a free shuttle service that'll run continuously back and forth.
Really cool.
It'll be safer for folks because you don't want anybody walking along Godfrey Road. That's a very busy highway. And so then they'll be bringing that in. We've got all kinds of good stuff.
Can I ask you about one of these things? Because I'm getting a little hot and bothered over here. Madison County Sheriff fingerprinting, is that, do I have to do that?
No. Okay. Unless you think somebody might kidnap you and they would be looking for you. So,
okay.
so it's actually a service that they provide because, you never know what's going to happen in today's world. And so by having the fingerprints on file for the kids, if something would happen, they would have an ability to do some tracking.
That makes a ton of sense. Because at first I thought, well, this is cool to kind of show them how the process works, but this is a real system that could keep your child at least for some safety in that.
Correct. Yeah, and again, it's all voluntary. Nobody has to do it. But it's one of those things that you wouldn't think about. But after the fact, if something happens, it's just one of those precautions that sometimes people want to take just to be aware. I mean, it's a strange world we live in, CJ. And
no, that's really cool, Keith. Because at first I thought, well, that's just a really cool demonstrating tool. But now that I heard you, this is a really great way to establish some more lines of safety for our child.
And it'll also have the officers there talking about safety. The fire department's going to be there to show off their fire trucks, to talk to the kids about fire safety. Like I said, we got all kinds of games and activities. The cost is it's $10 for a child to get a wristband, and that's unlimited activities.
Cool.
The balloon artist, anything that they can play as long as that they want to play. And of course, we're going to have prizes and stuff for kids who do the games. But there are tickets at sale at the center in advance for $8. So if anybody wants to come by the center, and they're wristbands, and so that it'll just be easier. So once you come in, we do have food available. There's going to be hamburgers and hot dogs. Paul Barbary and I are going to be doing the cooking.
Oh, cool.
And so I'll have the grill out, and it'll be good, and it'll be smelling good. And so everything it's made to be an enjoyable day for families.
Well, Keith, that's what we're missing. And I really mean that, because I've said it for a long time, and it's not a detriment, it's not a shot at anybody. It's just we have so many events that are geared towards the older portions of our community, whether they're block parties, you name it, festivals, and those are great, and they have some type of kid activities, but this is a great spot for parents, whether you're young or older out there, or grandparents, to come in for a safe day knowing, hey, my son, daughter, granddaughter, grandson is going to enjoy the morning. And that's kind of it's weird to say this, Keith, but it's almost Americana at this point, because you don't see many of those opportunities.
Right. And again, sometimes there's the big venues that you can go to, but these are all things that most of these games parents can go home and do with their kids.
Exactly.
And or do things in the backyard and stuff that I think we've lost some of that. Everybody's kind of video game oriented. This is all about how we teach kids to learn skills. So, we got a fishing game where you take a baby pool, you've got magnets on sticks, you've got letters and numbers that have paper clips on them.
Yeah.
And then you pull a card out of the deck, and then you got to fish for that number. So it's number recognition, it's skills, fine motor control, gross motor control, all of those things kind of put together, and the kids are having fun. And that's what early childhood's about.
Well, Keith, we just talked to Centerstone about an hour ago, and this conversation was about their Flourish program, which helps families that are maybe going through a DCFS situation, or you name it, to be rebuilt and go through courses and learn these things. And what we were talking about was very similar to what you were just saying, and that's the fact that there's no handbook to parenting. There's no, who knows what you're doing is right. But to be able to go to a spot and know, hey, for a morning, we're entertained as a family, but also what you just said, which is perfect, things that the parents can take home and do on top of things, and develop some of those, Sunday fun day traditions to where you're going out and doing some of the similar activities that you learned at Kreative Kids that day.
And particularly a rainy day.
Yeah.
You got a rainy day on the weekend, and you've got 3s and 4 or 5-year-olds. They're not going to be interested in sitting watching television all day.
No.
They want to be connected. They want to be motivated.
And get them off that TikTok junk. Get them outside doing something or inside where you're learning critical thinking, you're developing motor skills, you're developing all these crucial learning tools that, if you look at reports, it seems like we started dropping, quite some time ago. And this is a great way for the next generation to build it back up again.
And to see the parents play as well.
Yes.
I think sometimes, we get so sophisticated in the way that we do, we forget. And you get these parents involved in some of these little activities.
They get more excited than the kids
well,
do.
Yeah, and competitive.
Yes! Do it again!
So it's gonna be great fun. It's a way to just celebrate children. And I think that's something in this country that we need to do a whole lot more of.
Well, and on top of that too, Keith, and I'll kind of add on to what you just said, is we're programmed now as a community, not just us, but as a society, that we only kind of start doing these things once a tragedy happens. It's like, oh, well, let's tighten up and let's talk about this. This is something that you can do with your child and support Kreative Kids regardless of that. You know what I'm saying a little bit here?
Exactly.
Where it's not because it's not a reactionary event. This is just an event to go out and celebrate children without any type of outlier out there.
And one of the great things that I want to compliment is the community support that we've gotten. We've got sponsorships. The majority of the money is going to be raised through sponsorships for this.
Yeah.
We set a goal of $16,000. We're currently at $9,000. So we have had so many businesses in this community stand to the plate. We've got $1,000 donors. We got $500 donors. It's just been wonderful to see so many different organizations and people everywhere from $100 on up just be wanting to help us in this process. And so, this community is just wonderful. You and I are connected to the Business Council. We know the great things that they do and how much we support one another in that process. And I know it's cleanup day for the city of Alton that day, but if you get done cleaning up, then grab your kids and come over and hang out with us for a little bit and enjoy some of the experience.
Well, and make it an experience, like you just said. You hit it perfectly. Make it that experience to where you go and because your kids will remember it. There is those little things that we're all so busy and going to work all the time and getting things done to support our families. Your child's going to remember that day, especially if they're 6 or 7 years old going, do you remember that time? I can't even remember where. They won't remember it, but they'll say about the activity they did, and you're going to go, oh, my God, how did they remember that?
Yeah. And they start asking, when are we going to do it again?
Exactly. Well, and I'm going to put myself out there and make sure this darn thing's working today. If there's anybody out there that, hasn't yet supported Kreative Kids, this is a great organization, and Keith, you have a wonderful staff that really develops the child, and it's not just a daycare where we're just kind of the drop-off point until mom and dad gets done with what they're doing. You're a place where kids learn and develop those critical skills.
Yeah, it's early childhood education
at its finest. And if there's somebody out there that has the opportunity to support Kreative Kids and this playground that's going to be around for years upon years, because these playgrounds last a pretty good amount of time.
Years.
You could help a child just by going out there and supporting Kreative Kids by a financial donation. What's the way to do that?
Well, there's a couple of ways. Our website, or we have a Facebook page that has access to it. We have PayPal available that has all the details on it. People can donate directly to the center. Our address is 3048 Godfrey Road, and that's where the event will be taking place. And they can come by, and that would be great. If you wanted to really figure out what we're about, come by and walk around the center. Let us show you what we do and who we do it for, because many of our families are financially challenged.
They are.
And so I think it's one of those pieces of the puzzle where we're making sure that children, no matter what their financial background is, are ready for kindergarten, ready for school, ready to be successful. So, and you can call the center. Our number is 618-467-0630, and talk to somebody. There's just lots of different ways to be able to do that.
Absolutely. You got a moment to stick around?
Sure.
I got to take a quick break. 10:45. More of this great conversation hits you next, man. It is 39. Is it cold out there?
It is.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And misting.
Oh, well, that's even better. Flu weather out there today. Stay inside if you can and just keep watching our daily show. We'll come back with more after this in downtown Alton.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, free is alive and well at Liberty Bank. The local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
RiverBender Radio has built 3 great new stations just for you in the Riverbend. The Eagle, the Riverbend's classic rock station. The Bridge, hit music for the Riverbend. And The River, today's country, and all your favorites. Check them out today at RiverBender.com.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
My peace of mind was you make me feel. You make me feel. You make me feel.
10:48. Welcome back to our daily show. The worst part about that is no one ever heard it. St. Louis radio people heard me tell this story, and I got some interesting text messages the following day. 10:48, and coming back with Keith Nuber and Creative Kids, the Family Fun Day fundraiser, which is set as you see on the bottom of your screen for the 13th of April, 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. Big point to make. Non-for-profit status.
Right. We are a community not-for-profit, and so we've been around for 52 years. But that makes any donations tax eligible for tax deductible. So we are a 501c3 corporation, and so any donation is eligible for tax deduction.
We know what time of the year it is. You already just filed them. But get the jump start on next year. I mean, there ain't no better time than now. And Keith, what is the goal here with the playground? If all the money's raised, let's just say, God willing, someone listening today says, here's, $5,000, or you raise it that day. How long is it going to take?
Well, we plan, if we get the weather, to have it done for the event. So we're planning on dedicating the playground on that Saturday. We got to have a little luck with the weather, but everything is in place. They say once they get started, it takes about 3 days for them to do the complete installation. So our plan is to dedicate it at 1 o'clock and to recognize all of the donors that day. We will have a huge plaque recognizing all of the donors who have been supported to us for this as sponsors, because that's what's going to make the difference. That's what's going to get this thing put in the ground.
That's incredible. I thought you were going to tell me August.
No, it's the strange part is we ordered this playground last spring. It was supposed to be delivered in August. It got moved back until to October because of supply issues.
Suez Canal.
It was it was delivered on the 10th of December, which was too late to put it in last year. So it's been sitting on our property waiting to be installed. And so now everything is in place with the weather. So again, all things willing, and it'll be ready for.
This
for
has been quite
dedication.
the odyssey.
Yeah,
this has been quite the odyssey with the playground. But that means on the 13th, it's going to be pretty darn bittersweet for you guys, I bet.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, if everything goes well, to get that dedicated. And take me through some of the staff and just some of your supporters through this, getting this going. I mean, because this isn't a one-man ship in this situation, because you got, like you said, community support's huge in fundraising. Who are some of the people that helped you guys get this off the ground and running?
Well, first of all, I want to identify our board members.
Yes.
Barb Gable is one of our board members. She's the lead on the committee on this process. Tara Stewart and Lauren Wheat and Kelly Rupert are all part of that team, along with Debbie Stewart. And so they've been doing the organizing behind the scenes. In terms of donors, our superstar donors include Carrollton Bank, Jund Construction, Norton and Rain Insurance, and we have a couple of private donors along the way. But we've had Claywell Management has supported us, the Landmark Realty, the Mid-America Bank Credit Union is part of that process. I mean, and I can go on and on. We've got about 30 different vendors so far, supporters so far that have
just hearing
donated.
you go through a few of them, and there's so many to boot, and they will all be recognized on Saturday, April the 13th. But when you just said those names, it's pretty amazing that it's community leaders. Carrollton Bank, Claywell Asset Management, First Mid. All these folks really, time and time again, when not just you, but when anyone has a call to action that says, hey, we're almost there, we need a little bit of help to do this, it seems like they're normally the ones that say, let's help this community out.
Yeah, and a group called Brush, which is...
she's one. Liz Campbell's wonderful.
Yeah, and they because one of my board members now is associated with her, she made a very generous donation in this process. And there's just so many people who are out there touching us back and forth. I mean, that's the great thing about this whole kind of activity, is when you see that kind of people stand behind you from the community.
Well, and that to me is what shows that this is a community project, a truly community-based project, because you have folks coming out supporting this, the community's coming out to see it and be a part of it and raise a little bit of funds that day with their ticket prices and purchases of the wristbands. And that's what I think is laminated so perfectly in this picturesque, is the Kreative Kids' community efforts and now being supported by the community on the flip side for this great project.
Right. And one example of that, and I kind of saved them for last, is Margaret Freer and Freer. They are
wonderful.
always supporting us in so many different ways. And so, I mean, it's just a real good network of people in this community who really care.
We have something special here.
Absolutely.
And I've said that everywhere I go. It's, because I was in Georgetown, which is labeled as one of the most beautiful small towns in the world, and one of the most beautiful squares. But they didn't have us. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I've gone to all these places, and Keith, you have too, where you go around, on vacations or traveling, and you see places, and they're beautiful and they look great. But it's the people that make the town. It's not the buildings that make the town. It's the people inside of them, And
you're like a living example of that. The energy that you bring to this and to this show as it begins to expand and whatever. I mean, you have been great. I mean, you're just out there on the front edge. You're funny. You're energetic. But you're really committed to caring. And I mean, you've done so much around this event for us and plan to do that. We can't thank you enough.
Oh, no, I'm just glad to be able to do it. And once again, Saturday, April the 13th from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m., grab the little ones for balloon artists, face painting, the Madison County Sheriff free fingerprinting, which is very important. And I want to know if any 7-year-olds got a warrant out for it. Godfrey Fire Truck, a 50-50 raffle, the dedication of that new playground, plus ping pong target challenge, hoop a sucker.
Yeah, well, you got to come to figure.
You got to find it.
It doesn't have anything to do with you, CJ.
I was going to say that happened 2 weeks ago on my taxes. Swimming pool, noodle, target shooting, plinko, the list goes on, putt-putt golf, things that you can learn to do with your kids after this family fun day in the house when all this type of weather comes in the spring. I mean, who wants to go outside today? If you do, God bless you. I'd rather stay inside and, binge Dr. Phil or something, It's pretty much what I do. But you can collect points for participating in games to earn prizes, too. What are some of those prizes? I never asked that.
Well, there's some different kinds of things. There's levels of prizes. If you've gotten to a Chuck E. Cheese or something like that, there are little bitty prizes. There's some medium-sized prizes and whatever. But it's designed so everybody gets something.
That's cool.
That'll be fun for them.
Well, and then participant armbands come with unlimited gameplay because I know, as someone that takes the nephews or nieces or whatever to some of these, you get the admission price and then you realize you got to pay another $40-50 bucks for tickets. Not here. $8 in advance if you stop in Kreative Kids and buy those wristbands before the event. Is there a cutoff date for them?
Friday the 12th.
Friday the 12th?
Yep.
And then the day of is $10 of the event. But what I love about this is adult participation's free. You just want the parents to go with the kids.
Yeah.
Man, that's wonderful. Chef's kiss, Keith. And is there anything else we haven't talked about yet?
No, I think again, thank you enough. Thank the community. Thank you all for being supportive of us and making a difference.
Man, I just appreciate all you do. We want to see you there. Family Fun Day Fundraiser, April the 13th, 11 a.m. until 2 p.m., where we're going to help support the new playground from Kreative Kids. See that dedication. And remember, Kreative Kids is a 501c3. It's a community nonprofit organization to where your donation is tax deductible because Uncle Sam's going to be knocking on your door next April. Get you a little bit of help back while you're helping Kreative Kids. Keith, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, CJ.
10:57, a quick break. We come back and wrap up the Wednesday that was right after this in the heart of the 618.
Since 1993, Sparks Junk Removal is always adapting to the needs of our clients. That is why we now offer weekly trash pickup for selected areas. Plus, we offer driveway-safe rubber-tired dumpster rental. Give us a call today at 618-781-1407 or visit us at sparksjunkremoval.net.
Macias Insurance Agency, providing quality products with extremely competitive prices. As an independent provider, we source multiple companies to offer the best rates possible, covering auto, home, business, and life insurance. Our goal is to provide quality service that meets and exceeds customer expectations. You can rest easy knowing the Macias team is working round the clock to ensure that both you and the most important parts of your life are covered. Our qualified professionals make the insurance process easy so you can live carefree and focus on what matters most. Visit MaciasInsuranceAgency.com today to find out what our team can do for you.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
RiverBender Radio has built 3 great new stations just for you in the Riverbend. The Eagle, the Riverbend's classic rock station. The Bridge, hit music for the Riverbend. And The River, today's country, and all your favorites. Check them out today at RiverBender.com.
Welcome back to our daily show. Here's CJ.
On a jet plane, I don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go. There's so many times I've let you down. So many
Welcome back. Hey, Homes Outdoor Services. The old school American way of getting that hard work done, that blue-collar work, is alive and well in the city of Alton because of Ethan Holmes and all the great stuff he does. You know, I love the honesty of Ethan. He came on this show and said, man, listen, I'm just trying to make this something that I can leave my son. And that, to me, is the most important thing out there. There's nothing more important than the legacy that you leave behind to your children. And at Homes Outdoor Services, it's hard work with a purpose. He wants to make sure that your house is looking right. And what he did on this show on Good Friday was crazy. He said 15% off all hardscape and landscaping work by Ethan Holmes by calling this number, 618-670-9843. That's 618-670-9843. Give him a call and tell him CJ sent you his way. And I'll see you tomorrow. More of our daily show hits you then for, you know, a Thursday morning. Lee Cox, Blog Talk, and some more fun trickled in. Until then, just try your very best, as always, to stay out of jail.